Hey everyone, it's Nadia from liadiadesigns and I'm back with another tutorial. Today I have a fun project where we're going to be using this heart mold and we're going to be kind of creating some Valentine's themed items. And we have our little heart stickers here, and I'm also going to be using nail foil for this project. I'm thinking that I'm going to be creating probably a 2 or 3 part series for this video. This one's using the nail foil, but I do have some other ideas for some other heart designs as well. So this may end up breaking up into a couple part video, but for today we're going to focus on this. And I just thought it would be really cute for Valentine's Day, or even if you don't want it for Valentine's Day, but it would also give you some fun techniques to make for like pocket hugs and things like that. So I just thought it'd be fun. So anyway, so we're going to get started, but what we're going to do is, like I said, we have our nail foils here, which I just got off Amazon. So I'll put that link in the description for you. And we have a Sharpie marker and we have a paintbrush. I am going to be using my DuraClear gloss varnish today. And I also have these stickers that, again, I just got off Amazon. So little like the candy heart type stickers. So, and one other thing that we're also going to be using is some acetate, like just kind of a clear plastic. So, all right, so I'm going to get all sorted out and we'll get started. Okay, so to get started, what we're going to need is our acetate. So the one reason why I wanted to use this is because normally when you're pouring in a mold like this is, the top is the back. And I know that with a lot of my tutorials, I flip that, especially for my coasters and things like that, where I'll make this the front. But in this case, because it has that nice domed effect on the other side, that's going to be the front of our piece. So, and that makes it difficult when you want to lay in pieces so that they're not backwards. And sometimes too, I also wanted to prevent, if you just kind of pour resin in here, and let's say you wanted to like stick one of these stickers in there, it would be a little bit difficult. Either the sticker might, float around in there, or like I said, things might get, maybe some of you have figured out how to do it. This is my solution for that. So anyway, so I have the acetate here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to lay it on top, and I've just got one of my hairs on here. We're going to lay it on top this mold. And what I want to do is I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to just kind of outline each of the hearts so that I know generally where the shape is. And I'm going to go slightly inside the mold, and we are going to be cutting these, once we have our designs made, so that they're actually going to be even smaller than the line here. So because we do want them to fit in the mold when we go to have our resin in here. So I'm just going to continue to outline it. So let me just go, and I'll go into a quick time lapse so we can just quickly get this done. Okay, so I have my book just so that we can kind of work, and then you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit easier here. All right, so there we go. So we have our hearts. And what I want to do is I want to kind of have two layers of kind of like a background image, and then put the sticker on top. So with the nail foils, to be honest, I've never used these before, but they were just so pretty that I wanted to try them. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be using these the way that they were intended. I'm sure they are intended to be used with like UV resin and things like that, but I'm going to be just kind of using them as a straight foil. So the first ones I want to try are these floral ones here. So I really like, there's a lot in here, so we're going to probably try a few, but I really like this one. I just think it's really pretty and colorful. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can maybe just do it this way. So I lost my scissors. Okay, so I have that, and we're going to cut that one there. And then we'll just, and again, these are probably not going to match up exactly, but let's see what we can do. And as I showed in a previous video, sometimes if you're trying to line things up and they don't match perfectly one way, they may match a bit better if you flip one of them upside down. And this one actually, this flower kind of ended up looking pretty cool. So I'm going to just do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my DuraClear varnish and I'm just going to put a little bit in here. I've already used this cup for varnish, that's why let's just reuse that. And then what I'm going to do is just take you don't really need a lot here for this. And we're just going to glue it down right on top here. Like so. There we go. And then the same for the bottom one. Like so. And then we're just going to try to do our best to line it up so it's not overly obvious that we have any gaps or anything like that. And there we go. So, and I am going, again, this nail foil is, you know, very kind of has like made out of like a plastic material. So I don't think we need to seal it for any reason. I'm really just going to do this with like an almost dry brush, just to kind of flatten it out, you know, just to kind of make sure we get rid of any of these little air bubbles possibly that might be under here. So I'm just going to use my brush to kind of flatten it out. And as you can see, it's shifting because it is on, it's basically plastic on plastic here. So it is shifting. And like I said, because this nail art foil is so thin and it's the way that it's wrapped, if you were to try to lay this on the resin while it's still, you know, when you pour the resin and lay it in, you might find it's not going to sit flat. I mean, it might, but I have a feeling it'd probably kind of bend and it might cause some, you know, create some really cool effects. I just wanted to kind of try this technique and I haven't put it in the resin yet. I'm just hoping it works. So anyway, so we just do that and we're going to let that, you know, dry for a minute. See if we can speed it up, but and then we'll be putting our stickers on it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll go into a quick time lapse. I mean, I don't know if you guys need me to kind of explain basically doing the same thing on all the hearts, but I do want to experiment and try the different color combinations and different styles and things like that. So we'll go into a time lapse. It might not be a super fast one, but at least you guys can kind of see how I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. Okay, so we have gone ahead and added in all the different foils. So as you can see, some are clear, like see-through, and then some are solid. So I'm experimenting with both to kind of see how these turn out. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to cut them out because especially with the ones that are opaque, we can't see the heart shape. So I'm going to flip it over so that we can, and then I'm going to go in and just basically cut them out. And again, I'm going to be cutting them smaller than the outlines, just because I want them to set in the mold. So for example, like this one, we're going to go inside the line. I'm okay if they are, you know, obviously not going edge to edge in the mold, but I think when we set them in, it'll be fine. So like that. So we have that one. And if we compare it to our mold, and my mold is a bit, it's got a bit of stuff on the bottom, but so you can, I don't know if you can tell, but when you look at, when you set it in, it's going to be, there's a bit of a lip. I don't know if you can actually see how far it's in, but it's about a good 1/8 of an inch or so set in. And of course we're going to be doing it backwards like this. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. And okay, so we have our hearts now. Now, I don't know if you noticed in the time lapse that sometimes it seemed like the tape was moving, and that's because I haven't waited for them to fully dry. Like the varnish hasn't fully dried, and so they're still kind of hydroplaning on the acetate. So best thing to do is actually wait for them to fully dry before cutting, but you guys know that I don't always do that. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to match or try to match as many of these onto our little hearts. And like I said, I'm going to try to color coordinate it as best as possible. So, so for example, I'm going to take this green one and I'm going to put it on this green one. And you can put it directly centered and, you know, kind of in the center of the heart, facing the right way. I'm actually going to angle mine just for fun, like that. And on some of the other ones, we're just going to go in and add some of the other stickers. So on this one here, I want to put little I love you. All right, so we have that. And again, I don't know if we need to add clear varnish on top of these because I think they'll be fine. They kind of seem like they have a coating on them already, but just to be safe, since it is a paper, it's not really a plastic, we'll just quickly seal those in. I typically wouldn't, but I know there's been a lot of questions about sealing. And like I said, if you're concerned that, you know, it might be an issue, then just do it. Just go ahead and seal it because you can't go wrong with sealing. We're sealing your stickers in this case, or whatever you're trying to put in the resin. But if you don't seal it, you may run into the issue that maybe there could be, you know, it could absorb, you know, liquid, or it could just react in an unexpected way. So like I said, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and just do that. And again, I think that has to do a lot with how fast your resin cures. Like mine will start to set within about 20-25 minutes. So that could be part of it. But and again, I haven't quite decided how I'm actually going to put this together in the resin, so I'm still kind of thinking about that. But in the meantime, at least these guys can get, you know, all set up and dry, and then we'll figure out how we're going to add them once we're ready to pour. So once the little hearts had dried with their gloss varnish, it was time to pour the molds. So what I did is I mixed up about 4 ounces of resin, a little bit more than I needed, but it was, you know, there'll be a little bit extra, so that's fine. So what I decided to do with that is I mixed a tiny bit of glitter, some ultrafine glitter, just iridescent in there, and then I poured that about 3/4 to fill each one about 3/4 of the way through, and so that we'd have a kind of a clear part for our dome. Then once I finished pouring that, I then coated the front of each heart, the little acetate hearts that we created. I coated each one with a little bit of resin just to kind of help prevent any, large bubbles or anything like that in the piece. And then once I coated them each with the resin, then I kind of laid them into the mold, and there would still be a little bit of a gap on the back side, so I could fill the top up a bit. Then once I had all of those laid in, then I used the leftover resin that I had, and I mixed up a couple different colors to fill in the back. And some of them I just did glitter, and some of them I added a bit of pigment, and then some was just actually mostly clear. But because right near the end, I don't know if you could tell during the time lapse, but right near the end, my resin had really started to set, and so I couldn't mix all of the resin I had left over. So I ended up just pouring what I could onto the backs of the clear backed ones, and then I just kind of added a bit of glitter, just kind of sprinkled on top, just to kind of give us a bit of an effect. But as you can see, my resin starts to set really quickly, like it's literally within about 20-25 minutes. So I have to work really quickly in order to just kind of make sure I'm not having the resin set before I'm finished pouring. So in any case, so that's what I did, and once I had that all set up, then I left them to cure, and it's going to be about 6 to 8 hours, and then I'll be able to unmold them. Okay, so we have our hearts here ready to take out of the molds, and as I mentioned in the time lapse, I was kind of running out of time for these last ones here, so I ended up sprinkling the glitter on top just because the resin was setting super fast. So the backs are not super smooth on these 4. The rest of them, the backs are smooth because it was properly poured with the resin mixed in, with the glitter mixed into the resin. So just so you know. All right, so we'll see how some of these turn out. There might be a little bit of issues with some small bubbles just because, I don't know if you noticed in the time lapse, I actually forgot to torch the resin before I started putting in the little hearts that we made. So I don't know, I just somehow forgot to do that step. So I ended up taking them back out and putting them back in, and when you start messing with those kind of things, anything can kind of happen with your resin. So we will check and we'll see how they turned out. And again, this is the first time I've tried this, so it'll be a learning lesson for me, especially. And anyway, we'll see how they turned out. So we'll start with, let's start with this guy down here. And we will have to trim off probably some of these little edges. And I just use my X-Acto for that. Again, this was, so these have cured probably about 6 to 7 hours. So you can see that the resin's still a little bit on the softer side when I'm trying to cut off these little extra bits here. But they're hard enough to come out of they're solid enough to come out of the molds, but they're still a little fragile. But so here's one. It turned out pretty cute, I think. So it's got a little bit of sparkle in the background, but it has some nice designs, a little message. Oh, that's kind of cute. So we have that one. Leave that there for now. Okay, and let's go with this one. And this one's similar. It looks really cute. So we're going to trim off those little extra bits there. But another one that looks pretty cute. There we go. With like a little bit of sparkle in the background. And you have this one here. So this is one of the actual foils. So you can see here with the foils, you can see the little, it's actually reflecting the bits of glitter I put in, as well as it looks like there were a little bit of bubbles, some micro bubbles in there. So the foil is just reflecting that, and it's just making it look like there's a lot more than there actually probably is in there. So that's one thing to know when you're working with foils, that you're working with a reflective surface. So anything like micro bubbles or glitter or anything that you're putting in are going to kind of be enhanced. So just keep that in mind. But I like the idea. I think the idea is pretty cute on that one. And let's see what we have here. We have this one. And again, it's another one of the foils. Similar issue with the micro bubbles in there. But again, I do like the colors. We have this one here. Cute yellow, lots of holographic sparkle in that one. And we have this one. This one needs a bit of trimming as well. So like that. So you can see, I think we had 4 that were the foil, like the metallic foils, and they all kind of had that similar issue with the micro bubbles reflecting. And again, some of it's micro bubbles and some of it is the glitter, so it's kind of all mixed in there, which I don't hate the effect, especially on something like this one. It kind of gives a bit of a galaxy kind of effect. But if you're looking for something bubble free, or at least the illusion of bubble free, then maybe not the foils are the best choice. Like going with these ones that were more clear, there might be actual micro bubbles in these ones too, but you just can't see them. It just disguises it. So keep that in mind if you're concerned about the little bubbles. Let's see, we have this one here. Oh, this one needs a good amount of trimming, but this one I put a darker, this is the pigmented resin with a bit of sparkle in it. So you can kind of see, it looks cute. There's quite a bit of sparkle in there in behind. Maybe I think if I do this again, I probably would go with a lighter color because we've kind of lost some of the design in the actual foil, the clear foil there. So I probably would go something lighter, maybe even go with a white background on that one. So there's that. And we have this one here. So this one was the silver, and I think the same thing happened here is, oh, it actually looks really neat in the camera. So we have the silver here, and like when you just look at it from a, just kind of flat, you don't really see the roses, the flowers in there, but once you kind of get some light on it to reflect, that holographic shows through, and it looks really cool. So we have that one. And our last one is this really pretty pink one that I really like. I really like the foil of this one. I just thought it was such a pretty foil. And again, this one I just had kind of a bit of a sparkle in the back of it. And there we go. So I really like how these turned out. Let's put them on the table. There we go. Yeah, so I really like how these turned out actually. I think it's a cute idea, especially for, like I said, when you have designs where, you can't really have it reversed, like you need it to kind of show the right way when it's unmolded. So this allows you to do that when you use the acetate, and you just kind of create your design on a little piece of plastic or a little panel, and then you put that into your mold. Once you pour your resin, it gives you a bit more flexibility in terms of, putting in designs, because otherwise you might have to there's a couple things you could do. You could potentially have poured resin into the molds partially first and let that cure, and then do kind of the opposite of what we did with the acetate, where you kind of glued the, let's say you took the stickers and you glued that onto, let's see if I get my mold. So if we had the resin in here, if it was halfway filled, you could take the sticker, flip it upside down, glue that down. So it's, facing the front, and then take in the foils and then glued that upside down on top of that. So we could have possibly done it that way. That's a bit messier in my opinion, just because, now you're dealing with the actual mold and you have to worry about cutting things out. So to me, that just seemed, I did think about that, but I thought that was a bit of a messier solution. And I really wanted something that was going to be a little bit easier for you guys, or for all of us actually, because I always prefer to not, especially because my resin sets so quickly, I always want to find kind of the easiest, simplest, quickest solution, because my resin sets within 20-25 minutes. I don't have time to kind of fiddle around. And like I said, you saw me in the time lapse with these, having to pull some of these little, having to pull the hearts out and then putting them back in. That lost time for me, so that it was, basically by the time I was ready to pour the last bits of the backing colors, my resin was already starting to solidify. If you have thinner resin and more working time and you want to experiment with different techniques with this, definitely, try it out, see how it works. I have a few other ideas I'm going to be working on in the next couple days with these hearts, with this heart mold as well. And so I'll put out some videos for that very soon, hopefully during the week, if not, definitely by the weekend. And yeah, so I hope you guys like this tutorial. I hope you guys found this, you know, that this is maybe a technique that'll help you with some of your designs, maybe it inspires you to do something, maybe another design that you had in mind, or another, you know, something you had in mind, just helps, this technique might help you achieve that. Maybe if you weren't able to, you know, to kind of find the perfect solution before, maybe this is, you know, going to help you along the way towards a solution that works for you. In any case, if you like this tutorial, and of course, if you decide you want to try it, don't forget about my new hashtag. It's on the top of the screen here. If you decide to use it, like I said, if you decide to try this technique and you're on Instagram, for sure, you know, tag me and use the hashtag. And once a week or so, I usually go in and I try to spotlight a few of the artists who have tagged me there and use the hashtag, you know, in my story. So if you want to try that out, definitely do. I think this is a really fun, cute project. And again, it's perfect for Valentine's Day, or even, I know that pocket hugs are becoming a popular thing. So this is definitely a way to kind of give, you know, your loved ones a little message so that they can hold on to and, you know, think about you whenever they have it. So anyways, guys, I hope you liked this tutorial. And if you did, don't forget to leave a comment below. Let me know which of these you like the best. Or maybe there's a couple with a certain style that you like, or what you think you would do with this technique that, you know, could be a little bit different. So definitely let me know in the comments what you think. And don't forget to share and like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care, guys. Bye.